Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always double salute. Now, today's video, we're going to be talking about BHG personal loans. Now, we know that BHG, they offer personal loans as well as business loans, and we're going to talk about the business loans in a separate video, but I wanted to address the personal loans because I think there may be a better option, but we're going to check out and see what it is that they have to offer and if it may be a good fit for you. Now, before we get into it, for those of you that are in a community that are struggling financially, you're needing food, needing utilities paid and stuff like that, here's some free resources for you. And I encourage you all to share this with our community because, hey, this inflation situation ain't no joke. Especially checking in on the elderly to make sure they got food, making sure that their utilities is paid and stuff, because there's a lot of elderly out there, they're not going to say anything. So I really think it's important that we find resources and to reach them, as well as the single parents, the single mothers, as well as the single fathers, as well as our disabled and our disabled veterans as well. So being able, I put a list of these resources so that you all can possibly share them with some of your community. So I really hope this helps. That being said, let's talk about BHG, Banks Health Group, okay? And the thing about it, let's look at the qualifications of this. Average income is about $150,000, but that doesn't mean that you have to make $150,000. Remember, I continue to tell you guys, if you and a spouse in the household have income, then you need to start stating that on the application, okay? If you're retired but receiving money from a 401k, retirement benefits and stuff, you need to start putting that on the application. Now, their average credit score is a 740, but again, that doesn't mean that you have to have a 740 credit score in order to deal with this company, because they state that if you have at least a 660 credit score, no bankruptcy within the past year, they're willing to work with you. Now, one of the good things about it, it is a soft credit check. They pull your TransUnion, but also they may check your LexisNexis, your CoreLogic, or even your Clarity. So they may check these other databases. When you have these companies that say, hey, we don't do a hard pull, what it is that's another term for they're using these other databases to actually check and see what's going on. Now, their origination fees started at about 1%. So what that means is that, say that they give you a $20,000 loan. Well, they probably charge you anywhere from 1%, which is about $200, up to maybe 10%, $2,000 on origination fees. So that's one of the things that have been turning people off, because of the origination fees are so high. All right, and granted, their loans go from $20,000 up to $200,000. How this thing came about is because, like, if you're in a professional environment, you're a doctor, lawyer, and stuff like that, they was doing lending, but then they decided to open it up to more people, right? And because they opened it up to more people, again, many of those people, it's very rare you're going to find people that's making $150,000, all right? So in terms of the threshold for qualifying, maybe less. Now, their loans go from 2 up to 7 years. And of course, whatever you put on the application, they may want to see bank statements as well as a year of taxes, okay? So last year tax returns. Another criteria of theirs is that you need to speak with a BHG representative to even see if you're eligible, okay? But one of the things about it, I know people are like, well, it doesn't report to the credit bureau. Yes, it does. This personal loan, it does report to all three credit bureaus, okay? Now, in reference to the business, that's a different situation that I'm going to talk about in a separate video. But in reference to, so that you understand that these are the most important data points if you're trying to get qualified for BHG. But now, I'm going to tell you like this. All transparency. If a company like this is you have to have 150,000, even a 660 credit score, and you may get $20,000 or whatever. Why not go to a company like this that don't do the hard inquiry unless you accept the loan? They tell you exactly how much you get approved for. So I would check out like UPSTART. Okay, because they focus more not only on the credit score. Their main focus is maybe your education level, your employment status, how long you've been on the job, how long you've been at your current residence. Those are the things that they actually focus on. So in terms of deciding whether I'm going to go with a BHG or UPSTART, you would definitely have to decide, okay, which would be the better suitor for my situation. And again, like I said, with BHG, they doing a soft pull on the credit, which is the same as UPSTART, but at the same time, their origination fees may be much higher as well. So that's one of the things you have to understand. Also, the DTI, the debt to income ratio. With UPSTART, I think their DTI, most banks are 55%. They go past 55%. I think between 70 and 75% debt to income ratio. Okay, I know when people apply for BHG, their DTI may be too high. So if your DTI is too high for a personal loan with BHG, you may want to consider a company like UPSTART as well, because the minimum income you have to have is at least $12,000. Now, I did make a video about the best credit unions, and one of the credit unions that I was talking about, they actually partnered up with UPSTART. And what happens is that when you apply for a loan through that credit union, and anybody can join, I'll put the video in the description so you can actually see the video, but they use the UPSTART system to help people qualify. Okay, now that's one personal loan you may want to consider. Another one is credit loans. Again, another financial institution that's not looking at your personal credit. They are focused on your income. They're focused on how long you've been on your job, those type of things. If you have that credit, you can borrow up to $5,000, but their loans go anywhere from $250 up to $40,000, and you have a higher percentage chance of knowing that you may be approved. The unfortunate thing about credit loans is that they don't operate in New York or Connecticut. Okay. Now, another one of my favorite lenders, if you're trying to get a personal loan and you have bad credit, okay, is Navy Federal personal loans. And their loans go from $250 up to $50,000. Now, the interest rates is 7.9 up to 18%. But here's the thing about it, why I like Navy Federal. Okay, they use FICO 9 credit scoring. And I continue to tell you, the FICO 9 credit scoring system is the best system for us when trying to start over. If you're needing to start over to build up to build up credit, for us trying to get funding and get approval, high limit approvals and stuff, your FICO 9 system is probably the best you want to use. Now, understanding that with Navy Federal, one of their hurdles is that you must become a member. But I made a video on teaching you how to become a member, so that's not too big of a challenge. But adding to that, I should say not but adding to that, like I said, with their FICO 9, they're more likely going to pull your Equifax for the personal loan. All right, 550 credit score. And the reason that the credit score is so low is because they use internal scoring. So, and what that means is your internal scoring with Navy Federal goes from 100 to 450, right? But how to build the internal scoring is with having a checking account, a savings account, a deposit, a money market account. So there's a variety of ways that you can actually build up your internal scoring so that you can get higher lines of not only just personal loans, but credit cards as well with Navy Federal. Okay, now on the credit card side, they'll pull your TransUnion FICO 9. The good thing about it, they don't charge any origination points like BHG. BHG, like I said, starts at 1% and goes up. Well, Navy Federal personal loans, there's no origination fees, which is very good. There's no prepayment penalty, okay? The only thing about it, there's no option to pre-qualify, okay? And their loans go anywhere from, I think it's 6 months to 5 years or 1 year to 5 years. I know the maximum is 5 years on a loan, all right? Now, another lender that a lot of people love is PENFED. Now, with PENFED, the minimum credit history, you have to have at least 2 years of credit history. That being said, again, because they use FICO 9, they use Equifax, it's very easy to build that 2-year credit history even with a new file. Okay, if you have questions about how to build up your personal credit, business credit, click the link in the description to schedule a one-on-one consultation. Now, in terms of getting back to the qualification, like I said, 2-year file, debt to income ratio is 55%. Now, that's what I mean about, like, if you don't get approved for a loan with PENFED or whatever, 55% DTI. Because they're 55% DTI, then UPSTART may be your best bet. Because, again, they're over 55% debt to income ratio. Now, the good thing about PENFED is that they offer the credit cards as well as, and it's on a soft pull for the personal loans also. And again, no origination fees, no prepayment penalties. Their loans go from $600 up to $50,000. Their interest rates are much lower than Navy Federal because they are at 4.99 up to 17.99. And it's very easy to become a member. I made a video explaining how to become a member of PENFED. So I'll put a link in the description so you can check that video out as well. All right. Now, if you have questions about personal credit, business credit, personal credit funding, business credit funding, click the link in this description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.